Well, it's being delayed again because it's the same problem they've had all along. A lot of these reports of problems are merely anecdotal, and you can't replicate them. And there were a couple reports to NASA from 95 and 97 that a lot of this was based upon. And people are worried about the what ifs, not the what we've proven. And also there's a problem of old planes versus new planes. The new planes, the Dreamliner, is very well shielded. In fact, encourages the use of all sorts of electronic devices. That's why it's most powerful, at least as far as electrical service goes, the most powerful plane ever made. Now you put that in the sky next to a 30-year-old plane, passengers there probably won't have as much leeway. So it's a matter of the maturation of the industry, the technology, and government is, as usual, coming in third.
So, Mary, you expect that we will ultimately be able to use our gadgets on planes, right?
Because there's no evidence that yes, we will be cause any such mishaps, and a lot of the studies are based on reports from the 90s when cell phone batteries were the size of 2 large bricks and heavier.
So, explain the difference between e-readers and cell phones. Is it just e-readers that we're going to be able to use and our iPads? What about our cell phones?
Right. Initially, it's just going to be personal electronic devices other than cell phones or things that actively transmit signals. It's going to be things that you can turn on and read and just use your electronic devices. Play a movie on your laptop at your seat. But eventually, it will include cell phones and other communication devices for a couple reasons. One, almost everyone has reported they've accidentally left them on, and we haven't found any problems. And two, planes are being built now. The Boeings and the Airbuses are being built specifically for this. They want passengers to be able to use this, and it's a competitive issue. Passengers are demanding it. Boeing and Airbus are delivering it, and the airlines that don't get with the program and allow it are going to be shunned by passengers.
So am I going to be able to talk on my phone through takeoff, through landing, in flight?
Eventually you will be. Now, there might be an issue in terms of safety, not electronic issues on takeoff and landing. That's the time when you really do want passengers to sit up, prepare, keep your seat backs up, pay attention, because it's the takeoff, it's the few minutes on takeoff and landing that are most safety critical. If something's going to happen, statistics say, in 97% of the time, it happens on takeoff and landing. So there's a safety reason, not an electronic interference reason, to do that on takeoff and landing. You want people to pay attention and not be distracted by their phone calls. But eventually we will be able to use our electronics during flight, and the new planes are completely shielded. Their systems, their electronic systems, are shielded from cell phone interference because it's a different frequency.
So eventually, how long is this actually going to take? Give me an estimate.
Well, I actually think it's sooner rather than later. As soon as the Dreamliner is in widespread use and Airbus roars back with their answer to the Dreamliner, we'll have these two competing planes that are perfectly capable of doing this. I would think it's going to be a matter of a year or two, because already some European carriers are allowing it, and our U.S. carriers are going to want to compete on international routes and going to want to deliver the same services to them. So it's a competitive issue, and I'm going to guess in a year or two we're going to be able to use them.
So what does this mean for a company like GoGo, which just went public today?
Well, it's good news. I mean, obviously the commission could still come out and rely on antiquated data from the 90s or before, saying, oh, well, these might present a hazard. I mean, they're still talking about radiation hazards and batteries that emit tremendous power. I mean, that's very different. If the commission comes out and says, oh, no, we have evidence that there's a problem, where they get this evidence, I don't know, because it just doesn't exist. Even Boeing says it doesn't exist. But if they do come out and say, well, we're concerned about it, and the FAA says, no, you can't do it, that's it. The FAA has absolute power over aviation regulations. The FAA doesn't have to comply with the FCC regs, by the way. They supersede them with the FAA regulations. But if the FAA says no, then we're stuck. There's really no way around them.